Welcome back to True Colors. So, yeah.
So, yes, I have sad news, but it turns out Gabe died. It was such a shock and not telegraphed.
All right, so now we have a kind
honestly,
of...
I thought it was... Honestly, I thought it was funny.
Yeah, and I was about to talk about that. Okay, let's talk about Gabe. Okay, first off, so most of this scene is just the characters talking about how Gabe was awesome and he was a very beloved by the community and stuff. Here's the main problem. First off, what Wibbs just said. The way his death was actually executed was more funny than tragic and shocking, which is kind of a...
It was so goofy, I'm sorry.
I honestly thought he was going to get, like, caught in an explosion or something. I didn't think he was going to get Wile E. Coyote yanked off a cliff.
Yeah, and that's the problem. This is meant to be your big, sad, shocking, tragic scene that kicks off the plot. And this is meant now we're supposed to be sad along with the characters. And yeah, that goofiness kind of puts a hamper on that. Second,
it would be one thing if, like, again, the tree trunk, like, knocked him over, and it's like, yeah, there was, like, an avalanche happening of sorts, but, like, the tree trunk would have been less goofy, but it was, like, the small boulder that just kind of tripped him over, and he goes, yeet.
Yeah.
All that was missing was him holding up a sign that says, "Oh no."
No, you gotta add the goofy laugh.
Basically, but it's not just that, Shiroi. It's also the fact that, okay, don't get me wrong, they still did this better than what Life is Strange 2 did with the dad at the beginning of the game. You know, Esteban, the father of the two brothers, right, from Life is Strange 2.
Oh, gee, what a shock. Another Life is Strange game starts with a dead loved one. Like with Life is Strange, it was Rachel. With Life is Strange 2, it was the dad.
To be fair, at this point you can just say that's just part of the series formula.
And
then he said,
Kind of like how, whatever. The point is, yeah, here's the other problem. While Gabe was still better fleshed out than Esteban from Life is Strange 2, the father of the two brothers in that game, right? We still haven't really spent enough time with him to really get to attach him. Combined with the fact that he wasn't even a particularly interesting. He was just a nice big brother and nothing else. There was not really much of in that with miniatures. I feel like this would have been better fitted. Again, that first episode really needed to be longer, which is why I complained about it in the last part. The episode 1 needed an elongation to have us spend more time with Gabe, and as well as make him an overall more interesting character instead of just being nice brother and nothing else. So.
But Pedro, everyone here is talking about how awesome he was. He was
and that's the
Stephanie's best friend.
And that is the third problem. The game is telling instead of showing, which is a big no-no in storytelling. Except unless, of course, you're writing a book, obviously.
Like, honestly, though, I do wonder, why didn't we spend more time with him? Like, I know that they didn't have the most...
Hold on, this is actually important, so let me interrupt you about here. Ryan is about to accuse Mac, because Mac works at the mine, and he supposedly was the one who got called in by Gabe, because Gabe called Gabe to stop the explosion for a bit, but the explosion didn't stop. So, yeah, there you go. So now Ryan is about to accuse Mac, because remember, Mac and Gabe had that fight, so now Mac is going to become under suspicion from everybody.
It must be so what you're saying is there's a conspiracy behind Gabe's
Ryan,
death.
I appreciate that you're concerned about your friend's death, but don't accuse him without evidence. Come on.
Like, I mean, the guy's a douche from what we've seen so far, but that's not enough to... consider him responsible for death just immediately.
well, if Gabe said something, then I'm inclined to believe him, Mac. What are you saying?
Oh boy.
I'm not saying anything. Just, I didn't get a call. Draw your own conclusions.
All right, folks. This is an ongoing investigation.
How about
That's a good point.
The sequence of events.
Well, son,
When I saw you,
Hey, I'm the cop here, mister.
Pretty eager to find Gabe.
Yeah, who's investigating this?
Supposedly it's the cop,
Another fight with Riley.
or the sheriff, rather.
I'll have to take this.
Just saying. Pretty wild.
Oh
Just
god,
stumbling
2
out this
people
garden
turning
with
red.
things
That can only
fucked
do
up.
wonders
Just
for
a couple
Alex's
hours later, you
psyche.
just so happened.
Actually, yeah, what does happen when she's around 2 people feeling the same emotion?
That's one thing that the game doesn't really explore. Not particularly.
Oh shit, I mean, it's not like...
Really? They're right there. Why not?
There you go, Jova. Now you see what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm starting to see it.
Exactly.
Just as eager as you
Again, it's a great idea. I just wish the game would explore it more.
This little weasel's
Now
come and gave a liar
she's
his own
red
fucking
too.
way.
Like, no, if anything,
Just
Alex
telling
should be
Mac, I
going into
swear, if you say
conniptions
there was
now.
no call, one more fucking
Come on, Ryan, this isn't helping. I get that we're all super stressed because of what happened, but this isn't helping.
Yeah, like this scene is clearly at a wake, you know, like a post-funeral wake. Can you not like do this right now?
Yeah.
People are mourning. Jesus Christ.
Okay. To be fair, Charlotte herself just said that. So to be fair, that's the point. So to be fair.
And Ryan does seem to thankfully calm down.
Yeah. Okay, fair.
He's not got the fire around him like he was in a cartoon.
Fair. It's the game's way of illustrating what emotion the character is going through.
Which, fair
I was
enough.
referring to the characters, not like saying the game wasn't saying anything. It was just like...
Sure.
Also, kudos. I honestly thought the scene was going to open up with Alex outright yelling at Ryan that it's his fault, but no, they're holding off on that too. Oh, wait, is that Ryan feeling guilt?
Okay.
Oh.
Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, remember, Gabe was Ryan's best friend. That being said, no, Ryan, like, you did the only thing you could have done. Like, if you didn't do anything, there would be 3 casualties instead of 1. Like, there was literally no other good choice aside from what you did.
As long as we're tossing around accusations, way I hear it, you're the guy...
The only benefit in not doing that would be to increase the casualties from 1 to 3, and I failed to realize how that would be a good thing.
Like, Gabe, again, okay, I assume that Gabe was knocked out by that rock. If he was knocked out by that rock, he was unfortunately dead weight at that time. Assuming that rock didn't kill him if it hit him in the head, too.
Alex?
I love Alex. I really wish they would have put her in a better game.
Oh yeah, like, Alex really is...
Oh no, she's a really good protagonist. I just wish she was put in a better story.
Yeah. Are you okay?
So yeah, okay, Sheila, now we're going to start.
My brother's dead. Of
Alright,
course I'm not okay.
Well, okay. To be fair, Dwebs, I mean, what else is she supposed to say? To be fair.
Like, it's a typical thing people ask when I check up on
No, of
someone.
course. Well, no, that wasn't the point.
Okay.
No, of course I'm.
Oh, right, sorry. Okay.
I'm feeling peachy.
Alright, basically, Shiroi, in keeping up with our Life is Strange commentary tradition, I'm gonna go for the same gender ship, like I always do. So let's start our Alex-Stephanie ship. It also helps that Stephanie was one of the better things about Before the Storm, so I'm glad that she has a bigger role in this game.
Yeah. Well,
It makes sense, you know, Deck 9 and all.
Yeah. I'm glad that they brought her back because that character, like I said, much like Alex in this game, Stephanie was a character that deserved to also be in a better game. So
Which, to be fair, this is a better game than Before the Storm, so...
yeah, it is.
we tried to pop wheelies outside the record store to make me laugh. Never worked.
Okay, as much as I may have slightly groaned at the fact that we once again start with a dead relative, there is good potential to work off of, you know, how Gabe touched people's lives, and, you know, maybe a case where the tragic irony is that we learn more of Gabe in his death than his life. Like, that sort of story can be done well.
Gabe really wanted to do the line.
Do they do that here?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Do what, sorry?
Your page?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Okay, what I was saying was, while it's a shame we didn't get to see much of Gabe in life, one thing a story like this could potentially do very well is have a
flashbacks?
tragic irony where
Never
we
mind.
learn more about him in death than we do in
Oh,
life. and the
not really. No, sorry.
Like, not flashbacks, but like you learn about him through the people who knew him.
Yeah, they do that, Shiroi. My problem is that, again, it's just so much telling, and I feel like it's not as effective as actually showing us more. Personally, I think Avatar: Last Airbender style flashbacks would have been far more effective, in my opinion.
Okay, taking out the factor of flashbacks or not, like, with how they tell, is that at least done well?
It's okay. Like I said, this game is okay.
Yeah, I think that is definitely one of the best ways to describe how I feel about the game so far. Now, granted, a lot of it may have come off as me gushing, but keep in mind, if it's me gushing, that's just me, again, gushing about this in comparison to the rest of the series.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those things where, congratulations, Life is Strange, you made a game that's not an embarrassing, stupid mess. The problem is, it's still not that great when compared to other better games. Alright, so basically the idea is that obviously Stephanie, who was also a huge friend of Gabe, is super sad right now. So now we have to try our best to try to cheer her up, basically. So let's see.
Foosball champion. Why would that make her so sad?
Okay,
Maybe it's underneath.
So much like we did with Ethan, this becomes the primary, I guess, gameplay gimmick of the game, which is you touch someone's emotions. There you go. And now you feel her sadness too. There you go. And now you can see all the sad all the memories that her sadness is going to that happened in the. Again, I still don't get how this works, but whatever.
Yeah, I was about to say
with
that
rain and
is.
thunder ambience.
I was about to say, of course it's raining, just to add in that.
Well, to be fair, that's just basic film language. Like this is something that practically every visual form of storytelling does. To be fair, because this is something that you get told of in film classes, that rain is symbolism for sadness. So to be fair, this is just common practice. The point is, the point is, the same problem I had with Ethan's thing happens here. This is basically all it boils down to. Just click on all the hotspots until the game moves on. That's basically it. You're not really deciphering any puzzles. You're not figuring something out. You're just going through the motions, really. I mean, I would be more okay with this if the writing carried it, but the writing is only serviceable. And as a result, it's very easy for me to notice that I'm literally... Do I even have a reason to be here as a player? There's very little interactivity and effort being made on my part.
I can get why the fan base would have had issues with this as well, because, okay, if this is like your first Life is Strange game you're playing, then at the very least you might enjoy it in and of itself. And yes, I still don't hold it's better than the previous Life is Strange games. That being said, it does run the risk of feeling less like a game than the previous Life is Strange game, sadly. And if you're like a fan who's been in it since the start, I can get why this would come as a bother to you. Like, the way I see this game is, it's a net improvement, but it unfortunately comes at a bit of a heavy cost for stuff that did not need to leave.
There's also the fact that, and Sarita could brought up a very good point that it will also bring up over the course of this entire playthrough, that is sadly something that needs to be addressed. Unlike the previous games, this is no longer an indie-like game that you just buy an episode at a time for $5. This is a $60 game.
Right, 60, not even like a 41.
What this basically means, Joe, is that this one game is more expensive than both mainline Life is Strange games combined.
As I recall correctly, each episode costs like $5.
$5, which means, Joe, okay, so 5 times 5, 25, which means, Joe, that this game actually is more expensive than Life is Strange 1 and 2 combined in their entirety. And to get less content and less interactivity for a larger price tag, yeah, that's really hard to swallow. Really hard to swallow.
Like, okay, on the one hand, clearly the bigger budget is being put to use and stuff like the graphics, but
yes,
if that is the only reason that this costs more, that ain't gonna cut it if the game itself is not, more worth its weight in gold, shall we say. And I do wonder if this might have contributed with the fact that from what I understand, this game wasn't
I
an
just
abject
had a hunch.
failure financial-wise,
No.
but it was not the big.
It's apparently
money
it's sold
maker they
okay.
were hoping
From what I
for,
can tell, apparently it's sold okay.
but not amazing.
Not
essentially,
particularly
which-
great now. And like I said, when it comes to Game Awards, I think the only thing it got was the accessibility thingy. I don't remember. Like I might be wrong on that. Don't quote me on that.
The Accessibility Award is relatively new. It's much newer than this game.
Okay, never mind then.
Like, that award is 2 or 3
Wait.
years old.
Sure. In that case, it probably got like
Wait a
I
minute,
don't know.
hold on.
It was one of
Okay,
our
when did
favorite games.
when did Last of Us
It
2
must
come
be
out?
pretty good then.
2021, right?
2020.
Okay. We know that the Accessibility Award thing is as old as that because Last of Us 2, I
were in a
believe, was
band,
the
right?
first.
Yeah,
one
Life
to
is
win
Strange.
that.
Yes.
Last of Us Part, and this game came out in 2021, so it was after. So technically, I guess it's
could
not
have
actually.
won?
I guess it
I
could
don't
have.
remember it actually winning an Accessibility Award.
No. It probably did. If Shira doesn't remember, then it probably didn't. So anyway, we're not right now trying to try to cheer up. We're playing this game. While this is going on, to give the game some credit, the dialogue will change depending on who's winning and shit like that. So there is that.
Okay. True Colors did actually win the Games for Impact Award.
That's it. Games for Impact. Is that like the first one or True Colors?
True Colors.
Games for Impact. I'm not entirely certain if that's a good pick because this game outside of the Life is Strange community didn't exactly make much of a splash. Not really.
I'm trying to remember what was its competition around the time.
Oh, hey,
I
let's-
I like this bit here. I like this
mean,
bit.
that obviously wasn't my best.
No, I get it. This is a tough game. Requires skill, timing, and the will.
I really love Erica Mori's performance in this game. She is
Oh, yeah,
far too
no,
good. You deserve a better game, lady.
And the sad thing is,
The crowd is really
shoot,
picking up
part
on
of it
that.
just might be the fact that she really feels like one of the most real
Yeah,
actors.
she is
there was in the series.
she is incredibly charming in this game. It's just like she is
Okay,
so above. She is so much better than everybody else. It's quite astonishing. Go on.
I think the best way to put it is she feels like
I'm actually
what
trying
people
to
were
study,
hyping up
so you better
the first
focus.
Life is
I
Strange
am
to be
focusing.
back when it was the bee's
Good.
knees
Wouldn't
overall.
want you to get
Well,
distracted or
her
anything.
dialogue actually does feel very real. And granted, she's technically not a teenager, young adult, but
She's
all the
21,
same
if I remember
still.
correctly. If I remember correctly, she's 21.
Well,
Greatest Northwest band of all time.
And again, maybe it is just about that. Maybe Life is Strange was realistic for teens, but this is the kind of dialogue that feels real and wouldn't get dated at the very least.
To get back to the price tag aspect, yeah, it's kind of a problem because the fact that
Table football.
the fact that I have to combine all 3 previous Life is Strange games to supersede this game's price tag, yeah, that's a problem. That's a major problem because we're literally paying more for less content because as you're going to see later, this game is quite short compared to previous games.
Well, I got this one on Game Pass, so.
That's
I'm
cool.
lucky.
That's cool, Dwebs, but at the same time,
That's a win.
if you're going to sell the game for $60, I want to see that price on fucking screen. So
Okay, wait.
Okay,
One more game. Winner takes.
okay, so I legit wonder, is the reason this game is shorter?
I love that.
Oh, now it's on. Is again? I'm loving the expressions and the actual emotion properly shown.
Don't get me wrong. The money is on the table. This is such a gigantic improvement from a presentation standpoint. It's just a shame that the other aspects took a dive to make up for it. Apparently, I guess we just couldn't increase the visual fidelity and the presentation without also sacrificing the gameplay. I guess.
Girls or what?
That was one thing I'm legit wondering. Is this the reason that the game is shorter because more money
I'll
was
date
put into,
anybody.
the qualities of it and the looks and the acting?
I can see that being the case, Joe, because remember, one of the primary complaints people had, especially with the first Life is Strange, is how stiff the animations are and how distracting they could be. So I get the feeling Deck 9 really went out of their way to make sure this game looks much better presentation-wise.
Three.
Which sadly, I do. Okay, I don't want to act like they lost focus of making the other stuff good, but I do wonder if like they could not spare as much money for that, which I honestly think is a shame. Like, okay, first off, Square. Life is Strange at this point is one of your longest running IPs. Maybe you could give your team enough money to look good and have a good amount of content. Just saying.
There's also
Okay,
go on.
well, there is one thing that I think certain quarters of the gaming audience don't really seem to get is that throwing money that doesn't need it at a game isn't the best idea in the world.
Well,
Oh yeah,
Blibs.
that I do get. And granted, for all we know, maybe this was just Deck 9's vision. But we're not mind readers. Like, so at best we can just wonder if they would have been able to do more if they had more money.
I do like that line where she even went, "Goddamn Chen family," because Gabe beat her at this game all the time as well.
So I guess that makes you the foosball champion now, Alex.
Yeah, so Alex is now the new football champion.
Mac, he's clearly lying, right?
Don't get me wrong, Stephanie. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I can't say you're right either. Come on, let's not try to.
Story doesn't add
I'll
up.
just say this. I've read my fair share of stories. Mac feels like a classic red herring.
Exactly what
Gee,
happened.
I hate...
You mean red herring as in he's red with anger? Or or maybe like in Inokuni 1, where we literally catch the king's red herring that escaped?
Yeah.
No. The job was correct. Mac is a red herring. I mean, let's face it. Isn't it obvious? I mean, immediately when I first played this game, nah, it's not Mac. That would be too easy. You can't fool me, game. You can't fool me, game. It's abundantly clear that Mac is not the one that killed Gabe.
Like, I guess I'll give the first Life is Strange credit. It did play with the concept of the red herring, since while the crazy boy with the gun in that game didn't turn out to be the main killer, he was sort of being used as an accomplice for the actual killer, so he wasn't a total red herring. But here, Max screams obvious red herring. Like, we get a bad first impression of him at first, so of course we would be quick to assume that he is in the wrong, but now I get the feeling that there's something hidden within him, perhaps a heart of gold, even.
I've got a question actually regards to the game.
Go ahead, Dibs.
Yes.
Who amongst you has played or seen clips of the Switch version? Since that version got delayed a few months.
Yes, but the Switch version was made by a different studio, if I remember correctly. It was outsourced.
Dragon's Lake Entertainment.
Yes, from what I've heard, apparently it runs fine. It runs at 720p 30 FPS like typical Switch ports do. From what I've heard, it runs just fine. Like obviously they had to tune the settings down to potato settings like they usually do with these kinds of ports. But from what I can tell, it runs fine. I mean, I haven't heard anything bad about it.
Yeah, like it's not like on Mortal Kombat 1 tier or anything.
Or the Switch port of It Takes Two. Yeah, the Switch port of It Takes Two looks like it's running on potato settings. Seriously, like if you, I've shown Shiro a comparison shot a few months back. Like seriously, after playing it on the other platforms, like looking at the Switch port, holy crap, they had to downgrade the fuck out of the visuals to get this one.
Like in terms of Switch ports of games that I've played, the better ones from what I've played is like the likes of the Crash Insane trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
That one actually did work out. Some people actually like how Crash looks better in that one than the actual 4K version.
One of the best Switch ports that I've seen is actually Dragon Quest XI, where apparently they actually had to rework the game from the ground up to put it on Switch. And it turned out really well.
It came out on Switch for Dragon Quest XI.
No, the original Dragon Quest XI.
Oh wait, that's right.
You think the original Dragon Quest XI came out on PS4 and PC.
It's just that the definitive version.
The definitive edition then released exclusively on Switch, and only later got ported to the other platforms.
The
Yeah, so
typical double dipping maneuver.
Yeah, so there you go, everyone. If you want to have a slight graphics downgrade, but with an orchestral score, the definitive version of Dragon Quest XI is for you.
It's not just that, though. It also adds in extra content and a lot better. It's a lot quality of life improvements. It's genuinely the best version of the game, regardless.
Shiroi,
Yes.
if I recall correctly, the definitive version of Undertale is still exclusive to Switch, right?
What do you mean by definitive?
Like,
In
you know,
that case.
the Switch version is, I believe, the one with the most content, to the point where we get a whole new flipping character and everything, too.
Yes and no. Each version of the game has some exclusive content.
The answer is yes
In the PC
and
version?
no.
Like, okay.
All the console versions had little added things.
Okay. I know that the PS4 version was the one that added in the dog shrine, which, ironically, the new
Which
character
the Switch
in
version destroys.
Yeah, destroyed by the... I
right.
forget what the Xbox version added, though.
I can't remember what the Xbox version added, though there are some funny little one-liners if your controller disconnects.
All right.
Some of them are quite disturbing, actually. But anyway.
Quick recap on social media. Everybody's talking about how Gabe was awesome, and we also got some messages from the community saying, "Look, Alex, we're here for you. Just if I can help with like anything, just tell us."
Judging by the fact the chair got overturned, I'm guessing a fight may have occurred.
No,
down
that was
there.
because of the whole Mac thing that we saw earlier.
Oh, hey, kid, you don't have to do that.
Too late.
Oh god, what if Jeb is actually secretly the mastermind, since he's trying to hide something of glory back from the days when he supposedly rescued all those miners, but actually it turns out he's
Your brother's
hiding
wake,
something like
and you
gold
both
or
deserve better than
something.
listening to a bunch of fools squabble.
I mean, it would be an absolute Scooby-Doo plot, but I did joke about us being the Scooby-Doo gang.
Appreciate it.
Let's move on. Go ahead, Alex. What is it?
Okay.
Version of your dead brother's wake.
No, there's no good version. Just all of us trying to get through it together the best we can.
That is good, you know, never try and sugarcoat it.
Wasn't the first wake held in this old building. I doubt it'll be the last.
Yeah, we'll be
Anyway, if
holding
there's
mine
anything I can
soon.
do, just let me know.
Is that
I
old?
need to talk to Mac.
Look at
I
my
know he's
beard.
lying. I just don't know why. Any idea where I can find him?
Well, he helps out Eleanor at the flower shop. That'd be the place to start.
Thanks.
I feel like I should warn you, though. You might not get the kind of closure you're looking for. If you get any at all. Just don't pin all your hopes on Mac Loudon.
Ah, that's funny, given how you were kind of accusing him as well during the wake, my dude.
Thanks for looking out for me, but what else am I supposed to do?
Well, some counseling probably would be a good idea.
But
Does this town have a
if you get a chance
therapist?
before you go all
I don't think we ever addressed that, actually.
dispensary, Charlotte wants to see you.
Not every town has a therapist,
And one more
sadly.
I guess.
Yeah, tiny village and all that.
I've been meaning to
Oh.
give you this for the last few days, but I didn't want to disturb you up there.
The keys to
It'll get you
Gabe's
through that
car.
No, the keys to the bar's door and his room upstairs.
This is your home now, for as long as you'd like.
Man, Jed is such a nice person, Jova, isn't he?
What about rent?
I know I referenced Scooby-Doo earlier.
Don't
God
worry
damn,
about
he is very, very sweet and
Let me
nice.
guess, he murdered somebody years ago.
Let's just wait and see.
Give him hell.
No, I have the feeling I may have been on to a little too much.
And,
God damn it!
And I may have predicted something.
Well,
Okay,
Dwebs, we've already talked about, the two of us have already talked about privately about how you're like a kind of a reverse Kojima, where you predict things that already happen instead of things that are going to happen. So
What an interesting power, predicting stuff that's already happened.
that's
Okay, you know what?
well, it was either that or
Okay, there's a qualifier to that I haven't seen.
go on.
Yes.
Yes, Whips, go on.
No, I was saying the qualifier to that was that I'm predicting things that have already happened, but that I haven't seen.
Yeah, that's basically his thing.
Beautiful. But okay. If my predictions of Jed turn out to be true, I'll give him credit. It still was not nearly as telegraphed as Gabe's death. To give it credit there. Like, there is still at least a good enough room for doubt at this moment. Like,
Hopefully,
again,
things
for all
around
we
here can
know,
settle
maybe
down.
Jed was just someone who was involved. You know,
be
but
good.
still legit meant good. But like one of the other miners who we have yet to meet is the true bad guy.
RM and TB.
Even if I do
Not
get
in
the feeling I
favor.
may have been barking up the right tree. But again, won't dwell too much on that.
All right,
If that is the case, that's another one going to the tally.
let's leave.
All right, so let's go about town.
Time to go to town.
Ah, what a beautiful day.
Okay.
The sun
Jed
is
said
out,
I might
the
find
birds
Mac
are
in the flower
chirping,
shop.
everyone
But I
is
have
sad
tried
as
to
all
swing by the
heck because
dispensary
Gabe is
if I want.
dead.
Charlotte says, Alex, can you come by the dispensary sometimes? I think I need your advice. And Alex responds with, sure thing.
Given that she was Gabe's brother, I get the feeling
All right.
that advice may
So
apply to
now here's how it works. On the top right corner, you can see things to do, as in your objective. There's also a notes to self section there, which is basically the game's fancier way of saying these are your side tasks. So basically you have an option to either just stick to the story, but you can also do some side things. We'll be doing all of them.
Is it possible to select one of those so it'll give you a quest marker for that, or is it just like
No. The game does not have quest markers. Instead, it just tells you to go to this place. However, the game took for that this is a small mountain town, and it's very easy to find out where things are. So you never really get lost. You just look around for a bit, like, because this is literally a very, very small town. And you can very easily, it's very easy to memorize where everything is. It's not hard at all, I assure you. So
Okay.
we don't even explore the entirety of the town. We just explore this one section that has the characters that are relevant to the plot. So don't worry, you won't get lost. No, not particularly. So tune in next time, everybody, where we start investigating what exactly happened with Mac. See ya.
All right then.
See ya.
Yeah.